Lund Boats proudly presents Jarrett Edwards Outdoors. Jarrett Edwards Outdoors is presented by Built Ford Tough, Cooper Tires, Mercury, Lund Boats, St. Croix, Lowrance, Jerry Yamamoto Custom Baits, Lake Powell Resorts and Marinas, Tackle Warehouse, and Motor Guide.
I'm Jarrett Edwards. Welcome to the show. Today we're back in Northern California with Bobby Barrack with Back to Class Guide Service right here on the Delta. Bobby, how we doing?
Pretty good, Jarrett.
Now, I always look up to you as the Delta King. This is your backyard. You know what's happening out here guiding about 200 days a year. It's springtime, some crazy weather's coming in. What can we expect on today's show?
What we'll do is we'll let the weather dictate what we do today. You know, if the wind blows, we'll throw some spinnerbaits, we'll throw some crankbaits. If the wind doesn't blow and it stays less than 5 miles an hour, then we'll drop shot and we'll throw some Cincos and we'll just fish the weather today.
Well, it sounds like a typical springtime day. Ton of rods up on the deck, and I tell you what, more importantly than anything, today is all about throwing the kitchen sink. If it blows, we'll go and do the reaction bait, you know, or tuck into a little marina and throw some Senkos, whatever, to get out of the wind. We'll kind of narrow it down to what works. No doubt it's going to be a great show. Guys, stick around. Bobby Barrack's always entertainer, and we're going to go out and try to catch us some Delta bass.
That shade's starting to... Nice. Nice, Jarrett.
Just keeping the head up, huh?
Nice, Jarrett.
There we go.
Nice. That's one that didn't eat my frog. Doggone it.
There we go. Nice.
Very cool.
So you think these, you know, 2.5 pound fish ballpark are just up here? What, is this a male? Is this guy guarding? What's he doing?
During the spawn and rich roll, they got to grab something to eat off and on, you know?
Sure.
So you got some bluegill through here, a minimal amount of shad, maybe some crawdads. Anything that moves in and around their zone where they're kind of in that, I need to head to the fridge for a second. This thing comes flying by, scoop.
They decide to chew it.
That's it.
You know, Bobby, it's as simple as it gets, right? You have a 4-inch Senko, you have a 2-aught mustad hook, then we're gonna go to basically an 1/8 ounce little tungsten weight, right down to a small bobber stop. As simple as it gets.
That's not your typical Delta rig, but it's very effective and very efficient for a day like today.
No doubt about it.
Big one.
Nice.
Big one.
Nice.
Big one.
There we go.
Big one.
Bring him on over. Come here, Mama. That fish is hot, wasn't she? Come on down with me. Now, this big Senko, this seems to be I mean, this big monster can sink, right?
Yeah,
Quicker than the 5 and the 4, huh?
Yeah, I have not been, you know, I'm rotating. I'm throwing the frog a lot, trying to get that frog bite.
Absolutely.
And you're throwing that smaller Senko with a little bit of weight in it. You're getting down. That breeze is blowing over the top of this levee, probably blowing 17, 18.
Making it difficult.
But
I'm going to put her in.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the wacky thing.
Let's do that.
See you, baby. What a nice one. That stuff's pretty thick in there.
Yeah.
So, Bobby, it seems that 6-inch Senko is definitely getting down there a little bit, you know, faster compared to, say, a 5-incher with no weight.
I do. I like the 6 because a little more weight. And you can kind of fight through that wind a little bit. You put a little bit of weight on your 4-inch Senko,
Sure.
so this is almost comparable. Probably weighs about the same.
Gotcha.
And then with the 3-aught weedless mustad hook, I can get in and out of the vegetation relatively easy.
I prefer to throw mine just, with a single hook right in the middle, because I feel I'm going to get moss, or what you guys call the snot grass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally every cast are cleaning stuff off, whether weedless, snagless, whatever you want to call it. The snot grass grabs to everything, right?
It does.
But that thing just seems to come through a lot cleaner, huh?
It does. I mean, I still have to pick the vegetation off on occasion, but I'll deal with that because it's not an exposed hook and it takes just a minimal amount of pressure to make that spring open. You get her? Uh-oh.
I haven't seen him yet. I haven't even seen him.
She locked on that dock.
Yeah. What a mess.
Oh, that's a good fish, Jarrett. That's a good fish.
It's a public dock, you can do that. Well, I don't know, guys. Dock's at the right place at the right time, right?
That's right. That's right.
I don't know what to think.
That's your little Lake Powell rig that you brought out here to the Delta.
Oh, that's awesome. Anywhere else I'd say, don't try this at home because it wouldn't probably be a public dock.
That's right.
Perfect. Look at that. You know what? Let's go ahead and put her in. Right back in all that thick stuff. There she goes. Now, and I'm burning up. I'm taking this.
Yeah, it's starting to heat up a little bit.
The right gear is everything. I started with some light line this morning, spinning rod. And anyone who watches the show a lot knows I love the light line aspect, Even here at the Delta, but today's definitely not the right, not the right time and place. I pitched that under, definitely reaction bite, fish bit it, took off. I set the hook just out of instinct, right? And here's this fish getting wrapped around the dock. The line got caught in between the splinters, right? On the other side of the wood that was rubbing in there, craziness.
If this was a tournament, that fish comes off. We do not.
Yeah, of course. All right, well, I'm gonna respool about 20 yards to be done with
You need to check that line. Here we go. Oh, look at him. There's a good one. There's a good one.
Nice, there you go. Look at that, right up on the Senko too, huh? Go ahead and put this bad boy down.
Did you see that line jump? That line was just pouncing. That was so cool.
Bring him on over. There you go. Take a look at that, huh?
That is pretty cool, Chief. Did you see that line go thunk, thunk?
I did. And then all of a sudden, right on through, huh?
Yep, yeah. Very cool, very
nice,
cool. That fish right there.
3-pound fish.
A lot of guys,
beauty, huh?
A lot of guys just can't think shallow enough. This time, that fish was that deep.
That's amazing.
That Senko, I pitched it over there. The Senko hit. It might have dropped maybe 4 inches like that, and she was on it.
Man,
taking off.
I'm gonna go ahead and put her in. Let's talk about it a little bit. You're doing something a little different. I want the folks at home to really hone in on this. See you later, baby. Away she goes. Now, Bobby, if some of these folks can understand kind of what's going on today to clue us in on the bite, I think it's pretty interesting. And for the folks at home, if you could take a look what's happening right behind us, we're slowly moving on down this bank, right? We're going with the current. That's a key deal, especially out here where you have such a large tidal influx daily. Why the current, and why are we not fighting it and just letting it drift along with us?
Yeah, boat positioning is so huge in the fishing game. Most guys don't realize that stealth is key. Use it, you can do it, practice it. We are using Senkos today. It's springtime. We want to throw spinner baits and reaction baits and the big boy stuff and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
When it goes flat like this right here, you have to fish the conditions. You have to calm things down. It's conditions like this. Your options are drop shot, Senko, maybe even a punch. Something stealthy, something quiet. The fish aren't going to chase. They're very seldom are they going to go through the roof when the conditions are like this.
Okay.
So if we get a burst of wind, if we can let the wind help us out a little bit, the weather changes out here about every couple hours.
Absolutely.
So if the wind starts to blow, we're going to can all this and we'll pick up our reaction baits. But while it's doing this, we got to fish stealthy. We're going to use the river. We're going to use Mother Nature as much as we can for the stealthy presentation.
That's really good to think about them. And here we are drifting up, but we don't have trolling motor noise. We don't have big motor noise. Why? Because we're allowing the current to help us drift.
Absolutely.
Right along with this, we're just utilizing the motor guide just to barely kick us out enough, just a little bit, in order to be in position to pitch in. The Senko seems like the right tool for the job.
You bet, and it's not just here on the Delta. I mean, you have current in some lakes.
Sure.
You know, you got your PAL situation, you know,
Sure.
sometimes when they're moving water, you can actually use those elements with you. And then if you have that wind, that 3 to 8 mile an hour wind, you can do it yourself. Set it up, you want to drift across that particular point right there, which way's your wind coming, and position your boat, and then you'll make that nice drift. Every once in a while, tap your trolling motor to redirect yourself a little bit, and then you can't get any stealthier than that.
There you go, guys. Perfect tip. Utilizing the wind and the current to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Less boat movement.
Yep.
More fish.
You bet.
All right, let's do it. Today we're fishing with Bobby Barrack at California Delta. And anyone that's ever been here in Northern California knows that this Delta is definitely influenced daily by the tides. And you know, Bobby, in the past, you guys would just have a small little notebook, old school,
Right.
to be able to figure out what the tide's doing and where. But anymore with Lowrance, these guys really just have it dialed in. Basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna set everything on over to the chart. In addition to that, you're gonna continue scrolling. You're gonna find this little bitty T icon. The T stands for tide. You go ahead and just continue scrolling in on that. Over on the right-hand side, you're gonna find something that says info 1 item. Go ahead and push that. What you're gonna see here is it's gonna tell you currently what's happening with your sunrise, your sunset, you know, what day it is, as well as really what the tide's doing. This makes life easy, huh?
Very nice.
This way, you know, anglers such as yourself that understand how the current is gonna motivate those fish in different parts of the Delta allows you to see what's going on 10, 20, 50 miles down the Delta and where you should be running to.
It's real important, unfamiliar waterways, to have a tide chart, especially if you're during a low tide phase.
There you go.
You know, you're running around in a very expensive piece of equipment,
No
so
doubt.
we don't want to hit the high spots.
Bobby, super smart technology. It's pretty simple. You want to learn more about Lowrance products, just visit us online, lowrance.com. I'm Jarrett Edwards. Look forward to seeing you on the water. There you go.
Right past that disturbed moss, right on the...
That'll work. All right, here's a bite.
Good fish, Chief. There you go, Jarrett. Nice,
All right.
good fish.
Well, that fish just came up on
Them
your
suckers,
Senko.
They won't... Yes.
You know what I mean?
That is a great...
She just came up on your Senko. Look at me, I'm all pumped up. She just came up on your frog, right? And we said, heck with that.
That's called bait and switch.
There you go. You bring them up, we throw in right behind them, huh?
The thing that I'm most impressed with is the cast that you made. That was pretty accurate.
Well, you have to. I mean, they're only sitting in certain little pockets, huh?
Yeah, that pocket is the size of 2 basketballs, and you actually hit it from here. I can't believe it. That's the result of good, accurate casting right there.
Ah, beautiful.
Nice. Very
You know
nice.
what? I'm going to go ahead and put her back in. Let's talk about a 1-2 combination, how valuable it can be to many
Especially
of the
with
anglers
topwater.
at home. You
Especially
bet.
with topwater.
Beautiful fish, huh?
Nice. Good job.
See you, baby.
Very good.
Away we go. All right, I'm gonna have a seat over here. So, 1-2 punch.
Especially with any kind of topwater bait. When you have open, a Zara spook, a Senko is a fantastic topwater follow-up, right? You get
Okay.
fish that follow in open water, easy throw, right? Fish
Sure.
disappears, eats the Senko.
Sure.
This is a different deal right here. We've got a lot of fish that are moving on the frog. Around the corner, we had some really good
No
fish.
doubt. But you just got bit right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you might say, as a bad buddy, I say, as an opportunist. I threw it right in behind him, right?
That's called poaching your buddy's fish.
Well, whatever it's called catching fish.
We'll
right?
deal with it. I'm okay with it. As long as it's in this boat, it's okay.
He came up, hit your frog, and missed it. We're having a lot of those today. Big cold front as of yesterday. Again, it's springtime, water temp mid-60s. That Senko, I decided, hey, let's throw it right up on that inside edge. And the tide, the way it's coming up, right, creates a little inside edge in there. We have rock, we have a variety of weeds, and then we have that mat. Best of all worlds.
Right.
1-2 punch, do you recommend your clients do it?
Oh, absolutely. absolutely. It's, you know, with heavy vegetation like this right here, normally you don't use that Cinco as a follow-up bait.
Sure.
But there's enough room in there, and if a guy's an accurate caster, then he can, if you can hit the size of a basketball or 2 basketballs from about 9 to 11 yards, you can be a player with a Cinco as a follow-up bait on a frog in heavy vegetation.
Gotcha. Cinco is the right deal, huh?
Let's do some more of that.
Right, trick of the trade.
There's a good one.
Oh, nice. There you go. There we go. Now take a look at that. That thing just smoked it up there, huh? What do we have here, and why are these fish holding to this position here?
They, a lot of these fish will stage right out here. We got a little spawning bay back in there.
Okay.
And some of the fish are back there spawning. But
Gotcha.
you still have another group that are out here. They're staging, you know. We have different, our fish will spawn all the way through September, October. Small groups. Big groups, March, April, and then they start to break down and get into smaller groups. But
That's amazing.
our fish spawn 9 months, 7, 8, 9 months.
That's crazy. So what we have here is just a flat area, huh?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you're just throwing right to the outside where these
bet.
fish are staging.
You bet.
Well, let's go ahead and get her back in there.
Okay.
A little chunker, huh? A beautiful fish. See you later, baby.
This segment brought to you by Tackle Warehouse, guaranteed lowest prices.
You know, when you think of the California Delta, you think of giant largemouth bass, and no doubt that they live there. We saw a couple big ones today fishing with Bobby Barrack, but tough cold front conditions, late April weather blowing on in. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and no doubt that was the case on today's show. So with 16-pound fluorocarbon line today, I went ahead and matched a 4-inch Gary Yamamoto custom bait Senko, and in the color number 150, which is smoking black fleck. Went ahead and matched that with a 2-aught Mustad grip and hook, which is absolutely an awesome hook. As you can see, this small little piece of weld right there, as powder coated, stops this bait from sliding down, which is going to make it an ideal hook to be able to utilize for the Texas rig in weedy conditions such as demonstrated today. Match that up with an 1/8 ounce tungsten weight and a small little bobber stop. Now, these bobber stops are super cheap. You can buy, 15, 20 of them for $2.50, and they're gonna last you a long time. Most importantly, they stay on your line so you can use them even after you go ahead and cut and retie. But the best thing is being able to push all the way down. It's gonna lock that weight right to the bait. Now on the business end, we happen to use a 7-foot medium heavy St. Croix on the bait caster of the Legend Extreme series. And this is a medium heavy power, which is gonna be ideal to be able to put this bait where you want it. Most importantly, when those big ones hit, back behind on the inside grass line, around the docks, around the cables, no doubt. Today, the only finesse about it was the presentation, because when those fish bit, you literally wanna winch them to the boat as quick as possible. As you know, the Delta is loaded with all types of obstacles there in the water, a lot of reeds, a lot of grass and hydrilla, as well as a ton of cables surrounding those docks. So when they bite, it's all about getting them in the boat as quick as possible.
Oh, she ate it. She ate it, Dad.
I gotta keep her head up.
Okay, be easy, be easy.
Oh, we saw this fish.
Oh, let's come out to the Delta and finesse fish in April. Are you kidding me?
We saw her in the hole, man. She threw in there and she ate it. Look at that. It's sure enough, buddy.
That
Delta,
is
huh?
very awesome. These are the ones that we're trying to catch with a frog, but they absolutely do not want to go through the roof today.
No doubt about it.
And so I'm glad I got you to finesse these guys out of the hole.
I'm gonna put her back in. Back through the slot. Bobby, I tell you, what an awesome day, man. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
And for a lot of the folks at home that want to come to the California Delta and really learn about some of the techniques, I mean, to be honest, I didn't even think about 15-pound test, a 2-aught hook, and an 1/8 ounce weight, and a 4-inch Senko, right? I mean, bizarre, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we really have dealt with the card that we were given today, and that is It started off 20, 25 mile an hour winds. It slicked off. Here it is late in the afternoon, about 3 hours before the sun goes down. And sure enough, man, it is it's blowing again.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Here we are back in the marina. You know, what are your thoughts about today's show?
Welcome to springtime fishing. You know, that's the thing. We could have went out there and fought the wind with the spinnerbaits and the crankbaits. It's hard to do that when you're dealing with a camera. So, you know, we opted to come into a protected area. And I really thought that I could get some of these fish to come up and eat the frog, you know, and good thing you brought your finesse stuff with you so that you could catch some of those fish that were supposed to eat my frog today.
Bobby, I really want to thank you, man. It's been a phenomenal day out here on the Delta. You know, and for the folks at home that want to learn a lot more about fishing the Delta, or just wonderful techniques to bring back to their home bodies of water, you know, Bobby has an awesome guide service called Back to Class. No doubt within, you know, 7 or 8 hour day, you get these guys honed in on a great place to start on their home bodies of water.
You bet.
Bobby, thank you so much. Guys, we really appreciate you watching. As always, every week we try to bring you a different West Coast destination and some of the main stars out here to teach you how to do it. Today, California style. I'm Jarrett Edwards. We look forward to seeing you right back here next week. Jarrett Edwards Outdoors.
Jarrett Edwards Outdoors is presented by Built Ford Tough, Cooper Tires, Mercury, Lund Boats, St. Croix, Lowrance, Gary Yamamoto Custom Baits, Lake Powell Resorts and Marinas, Tackle Warehouse, and Motor Guide.